Hey, welcome back, guys, to another edition of Lisa Renee TV. If you have not yet subscribed, please make sure to hit the subscribe button before you leave today. And of course, make sure to thumbs up the video and share on all your social media networks that you are on. Okay, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of the show. I'm so happy to be back in front of the camera and so glad that you're on the other side of the camera watching as well. Welcome back. Okay, so let's get right into this topic today. So, there's been a lot of political hoopla and talk going on with our different candidates. We're trying to figure out who's going to be the Republican nominee, who's going to be the Democratic nominee. So, of course, at the center of it all for the Republican side is, Donald Trump, who's kind of pretty much trumping out everyone, on that side of things. He's pretty much at the top. And I think it's so funny because it's kind of hard to remember, like, who's even running, beside him, because you don't really pay that much mind. His personality is so big that you're like, who? I think Marco Rubio and somebody else is running. But you like, who are they? Nobody's paying him any mind because, we're so busy looking at what Donald Trump has to say because he has a lot to say. Okay? But this video is not about it. No, not the least bit. Because on the Democratic side of things, we have, of course, Bernie Sanders, Martin O'Malley, and the lovely Miss Hillary Clinton. Okay? Which this video is about, the lovely Miss Hillary Clinton. Yes. And why I think that we need her in office for president of the United States. Yay, Hillary. Okay, so I just want to just tell you a little bit about Miss Hillary Rodham Clinton. For those of you who didn't really know a whole lot about her, other than the fact that she is running for president now, and she's the wife of our former president, Bill Clinton. Okay, so Hillary Rodham Clinton was an American politician who served as the 67th U.S. Secretary of State under President Barack Obama from 2009 to 2013. Her education, Yale Law School from 1969 to 1973, Wellesley College from 65 to 69, Maine South High School from 1964 to 65, and Maine East High School from 1961 to 64. So, from New York, the First Lady of the U.S., First Lady of Arkansas, a practicing lawyer, so she does practice law, and a law professor. She's an activist and a volunteer. She's never forgotten where she came from or who she's fighting for throughout her life. Her family and friends will tell you about her, which is one of the things that you can see in how she carries herself, and her demeanor, how she handles any issue that's thrown at her, whether it's like an issue at home, whether it be a foreign policy issue, politics, anything that she deals with. She always kind of deals with humans at the core of who they are, which is one thing I love about her. And so she grew up in a middle class home in Park Ridge, which is a suburb of Chicago. She's the daughter of a World War II Navy veteran. He's a small business man who sold his own draperies, and a mother who used to work as a housekeeper and a babysitter to support herself, and which in turn sparked in Hillary a lifelong commitment to fighting for children's needs. That's another thing I really love about her. She's very passionate about children. And she was raised Methodist, and her youth minister took her to see Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. speak in Chicago, which developed her passion for social justice. So Hillary graduated from Wellesley College and went to Yale Law School, where she was one of 27 women in her graduating class. So Hillary met her husband Bill at law school. So that's how they met. And that's another thing I noticed about her. That's a similarity, a parallel between her and like Michelle Obama's life. Like, cause Michelle Obama, she met Barack at law school, And then Hillary also met her husband like in the school as well. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. That's so awesome. I was like, oh, nice. Okay. Click, click. I was like, okay, cool. And after serving as a lawyer for the Congressional Committee investigating President Nixon, she moved to Arkansas where she taught law and ran legal clinics representing poor people. She co-funded Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families, one of the state's first child advocacy groups. Awesome. As First Lady, she fought hard to fight healthcare reform systems so all families have access, at affordable prices. She worked tirelessly with Republicans and Democrats to create the successful Children's Health Insurance Program, which provides health insurance coverage to more than 8 million children and has helped cut the uninsured rate for children in half. So that's awesome. A little something about the Children's Health Insurance Program. I'm familiar with that program because that program is actually in one of the questions that I have to ask people because we do a vaccination study in my job, and I have to ask people that on the phone, do their children have that type of insurance? Some of your children have that insurance now currently, or you know people whose children have that insurance. So she created the Children's Health Insurance Program, and I didn't know, or CHIP, that's what they call it, and I did not know that she created CHIP. I had no idea. I said Hillary Clinton created CHIP. So it was her idea. She created CHIP. So she worked along with Republicans and Democrats. They all came up with CHIP. I said, oh, kudos to Hillary for creating a wonderful program for children to make sure that all children will be able to get health insurance at an affordable rate. Elected to the U.S. Senate, becoming the first woman senator from New York in 2000. In 1995, she led the U.S. delegation to Beijing to attend the UN Fourth World Conference on Women and gave a groundbreaking speech declaring that human rights are women's rights and women's rights are human rights once and for all. This inspired women worldwide and motivated a global movement for women's rights and opportunities. Okay, so I love that quote. She said, human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights once and for all. I couldn't agree more. I definitely couldn't agree more, because I think that sometimes people treat women as subhuman. I think over the years we almost were treated as we were subhuman, like we were some kind of different species. It was just weird because, it's like, oh, you're a woman, so you can't run a company, or you're a woman, so you can't vote, or, you're a woman, so you need to be in the house and be, only domesticated, and you only do these things. You do my chores, and you can iron my shirt, and you can cook my dinner, but I will not let you run my company, or, fight a war, or, run a baseball team, or whatever it is. You can't do any of these things, but you can iron my shirt and have my dinner hot. And that's what we've been reduced to. Even in the film industry, like when what was her name? It's my tongue. Was it Meryl Streep when she got up? No, I want to say Meryl Streep. And I just don't know what's in my tongue. She got up last year and she basically was saying it's not Meryl Streep. I know it's not, but I did a video on it. But she got up and she, was basically pissed about how, the women aren't really, paid as much as the men, because how women are all around. Not even not necessarily in that industry, but it may be some, sort of discrimination in the film industry as well. But just all over in general, we're still not paid enough money. You're making 75 cents less than a man. And in 2016, really? That's still going on? And I mean, that's not okay, for them to comfortably sit back and say that, you're making 75 cents less than them, and then that's fine, because you're a woman, and I think I actually did a video on that. And I think the reason behind it has something to do with the fact that you have to take maternity leave, possibly because you might get pregnant or whatever. It didn't make any sense. It sounded more discriminatory and more offensive as I read on. It was more despicable. I'm like, really? Because I might get pregnant, right? Who the hell are you? I'm like, well, excuse me. excuse me for giving life, something that was as my God given right and privilege to do. I mean, how dare you? And the reason we give life is your fault anyway. I mean, I'm saying, I'm like, you get away from me, then maybe that's a problem. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But anyway, back to Hillary, but I just loved her quote there. What she said when she was at this conference at the United Nations, in Beijing. So she has been on the front lines for us for a long time. This is not, Hillary Clinton didn't just come out of the woodwork somewhere and you're like, who? No, she's been around forever fighting for our rights. She's always been an advocate for women's rights, for children's rights, for human rights, regardless of what was going on. She's always been, I really like her because she's always like, what's fair is what's fair, and she's always fighting for what is right. She's always trying to be on the right side of right, no matter how much wrong is going on. And I think you have to look at her character. So when you're talking about the president of your country and who's going to be running your free world country, you have to look at the character and the heart of a person. Like, besides anything else is going on, who can talk the most fanciest and who can razzle dazzle you and whatever and all this hoopla. Look outside of all the dramatics and all the drama that politics can bring and the election itself can bring. Look at the heart of a person. You have to really look at the person, look in their eyes, their heart, and really hear and listen to what they're saying. And you can kind of get a glimpse of what the next 4 years with them might be like. You got to imagine, because you have to think about it. When you go to that poll and vote, you're partly responsible for who you're bringing in to office. So when you vote that person in, they're the wrong person, and you get hell for the next 4 years, I'm just saying, Now, I'm not saying, if a person turns out to be crazy, I'm not saying feel totally responsible. Then in a way, it is kind of your responsibility as a voter, because you have to be a responsible voter. You have to be privy and pay attention to what is going on here. You can't just go and just mark, any old box and like whatever. It's not whatever. These are real people with real intentions, and all those intentions are good ones. So you have to know exactly who you are putting in that office. Especially for the presidential position, this ain't no governor of state. This ain't no, alderman somewhere of some ward. Even with those, you have to take seriously. A lot of people don't take voting seriously. Either they don't vote at all, or when they do vote, it's like they might as well shouldn't have voted. I'm like, why don't you stay your so and so at home? Because you got demons here coming in, as your new president or your new governor or new whatever, and then they're causing all kind of havoc, and then you complaining. I'm like, well, you the one voted the man. You vote the person in, And it's also when all what breaks loose, don't you turn around and ask, oh Lord, why? Why is this happening? Well, hey, you voted. You voted them in. So when you voted with them in, you told them, I am okay with what you're doing. I'm okay with whatever you bring in. I support you. So don't vote for people you don't really support. So you have to know what's there. I know you can't tell everything. You can't, because only God can look at the heart of a man and know what's in there. But I'm just saying, you can tell by the words, some people be saying. You just look at them. You got to know. You can pray for discernment and God will give it to you. I'm just saying, you have to know what's going on. It's like you can't just go and hit anything. This is serious business. First of all you non-voting people who registered to vote, get out there. If you of age, go and get registered. This is for real. Come on. Barack is about to leave. Okay? He about to leave, and I love him to death, but he's leaving. He can't go in there no more. So I'm just saying. The first black president moment is now ended. So he got to step down just because he has to, because that's the rules. Somebody else had to come in, so it can go back to the way it was. Okay, because a certain person said, I'm just saying, certain people say, I want the old America back. Or which one were you talking about? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, you can vote for them other, or you can hey, or we can go into, or it can only get better. So things can get better from here, or they can get worse. But it's up to you, the voter. It's up to us, the voters, in order to make that happen. So, I mean, hey, decisions, but they must be made at some point in time. I'm just saying, make sure you make the right decision. Am I getting paid for this endorsement? No. No, I'm not getting paid to endorse him at all. I'm just saying, look at the heart of a person, the man or woman that you choose to vote for. Whoever you vote for, whether you Republican, Democrat, make sure you're doing it for all the right reasons, and you're not voting for them, for silly stuff. Just make sure it's for all the right reasons, and you believe in your heart of hearts that this is the right person to run the world. So I think, in my opinion, I think Hillary is the best person. She looks out for women. That's a plus for me. She looks out for children. She looks out for humans. So they hold a special place in her heart. She's a woman who knows her purpose. She's known her purpose for a long time, and I think it's very important. And she walks in her purpose every day. And that's the kind of person I would love to see. Running things, in this world, like, seriously, for this country. I'm like, yes, that's the kind of woman. She's confident in her purpose, no matter how many men disrespect her, or when her candidates, the other candidates, try to, talk down to her, or belittle her because she is a woman. She stands there, and she is able to hold her own and run right with them, and just, hey, and it can be scary, but she's just like, nope. I'm not letting these boys run me out of here. And that's the kind of girl that you want to be. She's a tough girl, So, hey, I think she's the best for the job. That's just my opinion. And I think we women have to rise up, and I think we women, it's time for us to get a turn. It's time for, because I think a lot of people look at a woman and they think of a woman running, the office, and they're like, no, hell no. A lot of men are not in support of it. You think a lot of men are in support of a woman running the country? No, they're not. But I think we women have to be in support of ourselves. A lot of women are some women, they really, in support of us either running the country. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? But I'm just saying, like, we need to, lift ourselves up, and start believing and have more confidence in ourselves that we can do this job, and stop falling into whatever everybody else's opinion of you is, and everybody else's idea of you is, because that's not you. So we're great. God created us, and He gave us so much strength and power, and we have to kind of tap into that. And I think we can do this. So I think women, hit the polls, hit the polls. Okay, when it's time to go to that poll, you better hit the poll. Hit the polls. Go to the polls, okay, and vote. Make sure you go to that poll and vote. Men too, But seriously, I want my ladies at the poll voting for the lady. Madame Hillary. Okay? So we gotta do this. Girl power. All of us can do. We have so much power, we don't realize it. Because you let other people take it from you and tell you that you ain't got nothing, that you ain't nothing. And you gotta stop falling for that. So I think we can do this. Can we do this, ladies? We can do it. So I'm sorry this video got kind of longer than usual, but I had to get it out. So I think we can do this. If we all pull together, we'll be able to do it. Let's do it. All right. Well, anyway, I done got that out. I want to thank y'all for sticking with me. If you stuck with me this long, thank you for sticking with me. Share this video. Please share this video. Yeah, share this video. Thumbs up. And yeah, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I will see y'all soon. Bye.